Welcome to Melachim Bet, Chapter 12, perek Yud Bet, where we encounter the first crowdsourcing campaign and the first pushka in Jewish history. I'm sure you've seen many of those since, but the first ones are to be found right in our chapter. As you remember, King Yoash was the one who survived his wicked mother's plot to destroy all royal descendants. He hid in the house of Hashem in the Beit HaMikdash for his first 7 years. He became king at the age of 7 under the influence of Yehoyada HaKohen, the good influence, I should say. And now that he's a bit more grown of a man, he wants to implement really the vision of service of Hashem in his kingdom. He destroys the Avodah Zarah in his kingdom and really uproots the Baal and other idol worship. But it still says, Odam mizabchim u'mekatrim bavamot. But what he did not succeed in is making sure that Jews did not bring korbanot in their backyards, like you can see here, backyard. So he made sure that there was no Avodah Zarah, but still people were engaging in the forbidden practice of bringing korbanot just wherever they wish to Hashem, which is forbidden in the Torah because you're supposed to bring all your korbanot to Jerusalem, to the Beit HaMikdash. You're actually strictly forbidden from bringing them outside of the Beit HaMikdash. But he succeeds in that nonetheless. He looks around at the Beit HaMikdash and he sees the extraordinary amount of neglect and destruction. Remember, his mother, who worshipped Avodah Zarah, she was the daughter of Achav, was not exactly making sure that the maintenance in the Beit HaMikdash was perfect. So what does King Yoash do? He tells every one of the Kohanim, look, I want you guys to take leadership, and I want each of you to raise money from your friends, and you make sure you make the corrections needed with the money you raise. So for example, if you're a Kohen, go raise from your friends $10,000 and paint this wall in the Beit HaMikdash. Another Kohen, raise money from your cousins, and you'll fix the steps. Anyhow, shockingly, that doesn't work. He asks the Kohanim to each do it and to be both the fundraisers and the people who are fixing things, so it doesn't work. He looks around, he sees neglect, he says, okay, guys, don't raise money to do this yourself. Give it to what's called Bedek Habayit. By the way, this Haftorah is this chapter in Navi is the Haftorah we read on Parashat Shkalim. You'll see in a moment why. Anyhow, he tells them, give it to Bedek Habayit, which means for the fund that's meant for the fixing of the Beit HaMikdash. And he also does an amazing thing. He builds the first pushka. You ever see a pushka? It's like a little box with like a hole the size of a coin in the top. You put in a coin. Well, he puts this huge box, a closet if you want to call it, and he carves a square hole in the top, and everyone who comes to the Beit HaMikdash puts in their silver donation. Once the box is filled up, it's counted, and it's used for the purpose of fixing up the Beit HaMikdash renovations and maintenance. And so that's why we read it Parashat Shkalim, which is the time you give a half a shekel. So he tells the Kohanim, you have to fundraise from your families and friends. You got to bring it to the Bedek Habayit fund, and we'll do the fixing on our own. He hires people, and it says, Ki be'emunah mosim, everyone's working faithfully. They don't investigate to see exactly who's doing what, but they make sure that everyone's doing their work faithfully. So everything seems fine and dandy in the Beit HaMikdash. However, if you remember, there's a very, very evil, sinister fellow, the one who Elisha told he would become a king of Damascus, I guess Syria today, and his name is Chazael. Now, Chazael has been shaving away at the kingdom of Israel and Yehuda. He is the one who expelled already most of Reuven, Gad, and Chatzi Shevet HaMenashe, who are on the other side of the Jordan, and now he comes to Gat, which, if you remember, that's more of a Plishti area near Ashdod, Ashkelon, near the Mediterranean. So he's really been raising all around the Jewish kingdom, and he now is coming close to Jerusalem. So Yoash realizes that this lovely guy is going to come and destroy Jerusalem, so he's not exactly excited to meet him. Yoash takes a desperate move. What does he do? Well, he takes all of the gold and silver and treasures that his forefathers and ancestors put in the basement of the Beit HaMikdash, everything, and he gives it to King Chazael, rightfully thinking, that if he takes away the incentive to go and conquer Jerusalem, Chazal is not going to show up because he has already all the money, so why fight the war? And indeed it works. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's related to that though. Unfortunately, King Yoash's servant, sees that. He sees that a weakness. They put together a coup and they kill King Yoash. So he had a very righteous life. He was born he basically grew up in the Beit HaMikdash, became king at the age of 7. He's the one in charge for renovating and really building up the Beit HaMikdash. But unfortunately, he's killed by a coup and is succeeded by his son, King Amaziah of Yehuda. That was perek Yud Bet. See you in perek Yud Gimel.